So in just 32 days, a military operation codenamed Epic Fury went and completely redrew the map of the Middle East. Tonight, we're going to break down how this all happened, and maybe more importantly, what the aftershocks mean for the rest of us.
You know, this single quote from a recent U.S. presidential address, it really tells you everything you need to know about the sheer speed and scale of this conflict. Eviscerated in just 32 days. Think about that word for a second. Eviscerated. It just captures the absolutely shocking outcome of Operation Epic Fury.
So you might think the fighting is winding down, but the real story, it's just getting started. Because as the dust settles, a completely new world is emerging. And the central question we're digging into here is, what does this new reality actually look like? Not just for the US and Iran, but for everyone.
Okay, first things first, what exactly was Operation Epic Fury? Let's start with the official US account of what went down.
The results, according to that presidential speech, were nothing short of total annihilation. We're talking swift, decisive, overwhelming victories. To be specific, Iran's Navy, gone. Its Air Force, completely in ruins. And its leadership, well, the quote was, all dead.
So the big question is, what was the official justification for an operation this massive? Well, according to the White House, this wasn't some sudden decision. They frame it as the final step in a long, long history of escalating tensions.
You know, the official account presents this really clear timeline of escalation, kind of like a series of dominoes falling. It all starts with the U.S. pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal and the killing of General Soleimani. Then it ramps up with something called Operation Midnight Hammer against their nuclear sites, and finally, it culminates in the all-out conflict of Operation Epic Fury. The #1 reason given, to prevent a nuclear Iran. But wow, the address did not stop there. It also listed this long series of historical grievances, citing everything from the 1983 bombing that killed 241 U.S. Marines in Beirut, all the way to alleged involvement in the October 7th attacks, and even the brutal crackdown on internal protests.
But here's where things get really interesting. This conflict was never just about two countries. Its shockwaves are now echoing across the entire globe, triggering a major international power play that is literally reshaping alliances as we speak. And this is the moment the conflict goes global. This is where the whole strategic chessboard gets flipped over. As these ceasefire talks get going, Iran isn't walking to the table alone. Nope. It has reportedly brought in America's two biggest rivals, Russia and China, to sit in on the negotiations, looking for their help to guarantee the deal isn't, and this is their word, deceptive.
And then, you've got these wild-card actors jumping into the fray. The leader of Russia's Chechen Republic has reportedly declared his forces are ready to jump in, completely reframing this whole geopolitical clash as a religious war.
And listen, this support, it's not just talk. It's not just political posturing. Reports are claiming Iran is getting very real, very tangible military aid. We're talking satellite imagery and advanced drone tech from Russia, and air defense systems and anti-ship missiles from China. This isn't just diplomacy anymore. This is a material shift in the region's military balance of power.
So, with the battlefield changing and new players pulling up a seat at the table, all eyes are now on these incredibly high-stakes negotiations to end the fighting and figure out what comes next. The U.S. has put forward a 15-point proposal. Now, while we don't know every single detail, reports show it really boils down to 3 huge demands. 1. Dismantle Iran's entire nuclear program. 2. End its funding of all those regional proxies. And 3. Guarantee the Strait of Hormuz remains open, which, is a critical choke point where a massive chunk of the world's oil flows through every single day.
So here we can really see the core of the negotiations. It's clear how far apart they are. The U.S. is offering some pretty big incentives, things like full sanctions relief and removing the threat of snapback sanctions. That's a mechanism that could instantly bring back all the penalties if Iran breaks the deal. But Iran is firing back with its own demands, including war reparations and full sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. That's the fundamental gap diplomats are desperately trying to bridge right now.
And to make things even more complicated, there seems to be a major disagreement popping up between key allies. While the U.S. wants to pause all strikes to protect the diplomatic process, Israel is reportedly pushing to keep hitting Iranian infrastructure to maintain maximum pressure. That's a fundamental difference in strategy at a super critical moment. Okay, so let's pull all of these threads together. What's the ultimate strategic aftermath? How has this 32-day operation really, truly reshaped the Middle East?
When you step back and look at the big picture, a pretty ironic story starts to emerge. An operation that was intended to neutralize a specific threat seems to have triggered its exact opposite, a global realignment. It looks like by pushing Iran into a corner, the U.S. may have accidentally helped cement a new anti-Western axis, pulling Russia and China deeper into the region's security than ever before.
And so, we're left with this huge, hanging question. The stated goal of all this was stability. But now, with new alliances hardening and old ones being seriously tested, has Operation Epic Fury actually made the Middle East more or less dangerous than it was before? That, right there, is the new reality.